All right, welcome to episode 15 of the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast, first of the new year 2018. I would say Happy New Year's to everybody, but it's kind of late for that. We're now
we're
10 days into New Year. You can't be saying a Happy New Year 10 days or so into the new year. But good to see you in the new year.
I don't think you're being sincere.
It's okay. I am being sincere. It is good to see you in the new year. It's good to be back.
I'm in a problematic mood today.
That might be a problem for you. It's not going to be a problem for me. That much I know.
First of all, I want to remind everybody listening that they never thought we would make it this far, and I'm gonna keep that theme going. So now you can set us up for.
You didn't
for
say you
what?
didn't say it with the same energy.
No, I'm not gonna do that today.
Okay.
I told you I don't feel like it.
Okay.
And nobody's gonna care anyway. So
I didn't care.
It is what it is.
Moving on. It's good to be back in the new year. We thank everybody for listening to our end of the year. We talked about some of our favorite hip hop albums and some other things.
And I shocked everyone by
not
putting Freddie Gibbs at number one.
that was a shock. We'll see if that continues for Brian in 2018.
But after Bandana when it comes out.
Nobody cares.
We're going to actually get into that right now.
Nobody
cares.
We are. Nobody cares. So 2018 is here, and there's always – I want to start off because, at this time of year, we say at the end of last year, a lot of people, you see it on social media, everybody's like, hey, new year, new me, I'm going to be doing this, I'll be doing that, I'm going to – I have all these resolutions that I'm going to do it. And – I don't know what you think about New Year's resolutions. I'm fine. I think you should have goals. I think you should have things that you strive for.
Yeah.
But I think people are overall just a little bit corny with the New Year's resolutions on social media.
You know what it is? Yeah, that's what it is right there. It's social media. They have the platform to do it, so everybody's just going to be corny and just, new year, new me, and start new things and this like that. Although I will say this. I regularly go to the gym, and the reason why I'm pointing that out is because I actually went to the gym like one of the first days of the new year, and it was more crowded than it normally is.
Of course, that's how it always is.
You know what I mean?
When I used to personal train in the beginning, at first, January, it's crazy. And one of my best friends, he's a personal trainer. He does that for a living, and it's crazy. He does some training for Equinox, and it's crazy. Everybody's there. But then you give it 3 weeks. People can't even do a month. Mm-hmm. They can't even make it through January. It's like they can't even be about what they say they're going to be about. Give it 3 weeks, the gym is like it was before.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I guess I would say bothers me about it. I'm not here to be a hater, but at the same time, it's like, man, if you're going to have a New Year's resolution, A, stick to it, and B, don't be so corny about it.
But see, here's the problem. You can say these New Year resolutions on Twitter, you can post something on Instagram, you can say whatever you want to say, but there's nobody to hold you accountable to this. So a lot of people are going to say, yo, new year, new me, I'm kicking all the hate out of my life. That's another thing. Everybody's got haters, right? Have you
seen the meme? Have y'all seen this meme? The woman who's carrying like all in her bag, like, hate, envy, and all this stuff.
That already sounds corny.
And she's stepping up a ladder, and then it's towards like love. And then it's towards like, happiness and money and all this stuff and things like that. And people post that as one of the new. Really? I'm looking at your face right now.
Really?
So that's what they left behind in the old year, and that's what they're going towards in the new year.
I'm all about the symbolism of that, and I think you sometimes have to leave things behind from year to year and go forward. I just find it interesting that so many people have to put it out there for everybody else to know. It's almost like, look at me, I'm changing my life. But it's like, all right, so what if if you posted something out there and said, hey, I'm going to do this in the new year, and I know you, and then I see 6 months later, I'm like, yo, but you really haven't done a damn thing. Like, who holds you accountable to that?
But not even that. If I posted something new or something that I wanted to do in the new year,
you
would probably look at me funny anyway because I don't normally do that kind of thing. All I did was reflected on the
But
year.
if it was, I think what we should do, I think what everybody should do is hold their people that they know that do this accountable. Go back 2 months from now, pull up that post and be like, yo, did you really lose that weight? And look at those people and be like, nah, you didn't. Like, so next year you might not want to do it. It's just nobody gets held accountable for the stuff that they put out. That's my problem with it.
Word. A few months in,
we need New Year's resolution checkers. That's what we need.
New Year's resolution.
People to check them real quick.
New Year's resolution fact checkers.
Yeah,
that's fat because we were talking about weight.
Sorry, that's just came to my mind because one of the popular things that people do. You know, did you make any New Year's resolutions? Is there anything new you're gonna be doing for 2018?
I mean, you know, it was funny too. I was thinking about this. I mean, like I wanna, but they're kind of the same thing I had last year in terms of like, I'm mostly at the point now where there are things I just want to build on. In terms of, I feel like, you know, in my opinion, like I had a great 2017 in terms of the things that I was able to do and like build and things like that. And I just want to build upon that in 2018, take the next step, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, you know, you obviously want like good health, more financial stability, more money in your savings accounts. Start saving your money now, kids, if you haven't already. That's my message for the day. But yeah, like things like that. Those are things that like I really want to work on. And obviously, you know, taking this podcast to what we believe is the next level, and then the level after that, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody wants to progress. You know, I think the things I also see from people too sometimes around New Year's stuff and social media is that, oh my God, last year was so bad. And I think one of the things I've learned that I've gotten older is even the years that you think are rough for you, they're not really as bad as you think. It's just where you needed to go to the next chapter of your life. Yeah. So when you look back at some of them, oh, this year was so rough for me, and it's like, when you look back, it's not looking back and saying it wasn't bad. It's looking back and understanding that it was purposeful in you getting to where you had to go.
Right.
And so, you know, I know personally for me, I'm grateful for a lot of things I started last year, you know, like this podcast and some other content we've done on Backpack Broadcasting that y'all should be checking out. And that we're going to continue to do this year. So for me, it's just always building and getting better, and that's always my focus. So I'm kind of like you on that page. I don't really have anything else beside that. It's just, you know, how do I build? How do I get better? How do I become more focused on certain things, and that's what I do. I mean, are there things I'm looking forward to in 2018? Of course.
Oh, that's what I want to get into.
Yeah, of course.
Because
there's things I'm looking forward to.
There are a lot of things in 2018 that we're rumored to get, supposed to get, whatever. Things that are actually coming out. We've talked about Black Panther.
Yes,
I know you're very excited for that. I was very excited, not even when I saw the trailer the first time, but when I heard the Vince Staples joint on the trailer, the Backpack song from Big Fish Theory, and I love that song, and I like the use of it, so I was like, ooh. So that got my attention because I'm a big Vince Staples fan.
Everybody black is excited. I'm gonna speak for everybody black. You know, I'm serious. You know how
I know you're serious.
No,
and you're right.
There's numbers to prove
I'm on
this.
Twitter.
This isn't even just me saying this. The pre-sale, I already have my tickets for Black Panther. That's how serious it is. Yes, it's serious. It's serious. Got my tickets for Black Panther. February 16th. I will be in the building. I will be watching it.
He'll be there February 15th, camping out.
Nah, it's never that serious. Never that serious.
9 p.m.
But this has done more pre-sale tickets than any other Marvel movie. And
I can believe that.
And look, I think it's huge because I think, you know, obviously I can speak to this as a black person. You haven't seen that much representation of yourself in superhero movies, and there's a group of people with the strength and the unity that's being shown in Black Panther. Yeah. So
is that why they're getting on? Is that why they're getting on Michael B. Jordan for dating white women?
Well, the people who are doing that, I think that's stupid, and they're taking it way too seriously.
I agree. I think it is too. I'm just saying,
way too seriously. I think that's part of it, but I think those people they're lost. I'm just gonna call them out on that.
Let's stay there for a second because I remember like seeing on social media when that story was kind of going around, and people were like, "Oh, why couldn't he wait until after Black Panther dropped?"
Who cares?
Yeah, that's what I said. It's like so what? It's not like it's not like
it didn't matter. Those people that are angry would have been angry after Black Panther dropped anyway. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna change anything. Yo, you can always be mad.
See, this is why people for years have been questioning why Twitter is still free, and well, we'll see if it still is after that whole net neutrality thing. But
no, but yeah, Black Panther is definitely one of the things I'm excited for. I am excited that Kendrick Lamar is executive producing the soundtrack for that. I like the first single they released with SZA. He and SZA released. I think the song is dope. So I'm excited to hear how that whole soundtrack comes together.
We talked about at the end, like you mentioned this earlier, our end of the year best hip hop albums list, and there are a lot more that are supposed to come out this year. Perhaps it didn't come out last year, or they're just supposed to come out this year in general. And Lewis, our producer today, who's usually our director of photography, was talking to us earlier about how he thinks this year is probably going to suck because last year was so good.
But I understand where he's coming from on that.
I do too, because this year is going to be a hard year to follow up. Which is why it was probably the best year that we've had in years, because all those other years were hard to follow up. But with that being said, there are a lot of projects that we both are looking forward to this year.
Yes.
One of whom Royce the 5'9" is dropping 2 things, and I want to get your thoughts on that because I feel like Prime 2 is coming. I feel like it's coming soon.
A couple months ago, I think DJ Premier said that it was in mixing stages. And I think I had seen a video of him saying that.
I hate when they do that.
In like September, October. You know, it's like I don't want to just give me the date. Let me know when the dates come in.
Madlib did the same thing.
Don't tease me with that. You know, it's like going to the strip club of music. You're teasing me and just give me the album, man. Like,
I thought you were gonna give us a strip club story, but okay.
No. That'll come another.
I would have been here for that.
That'll come at another time. But no, I'm with you on that. I'm excited for Prime 2. I really like the first Prime. So I'm definitely excited for that.
Are you more excited for Book of Ryan though?
No, I'm more excited for Prime.
Okay, fine.
Definitely more excited for Prime.
That's Royce the 5'9".
Book of Ryan will be his solo
other album. Yes. Hip Hop DX put together a great list, so shout out to them. I'm just looking through it now. Oh, we were talking about Cardi B before we went on, and she's somebody who's gotten a lot of attention. She's somebody who I'm kind of like, all right. Guest verse. It's cool, but I kind of want to hear the album now. Just see if you can make an album.
I think she's kind of doing what in the same vein of what we saw with Drake. You know, a friend of mine actually brought this up to me. This example I'm about to give, so it wasn't my thought.
Nicki Minaj?
Yeah, sort of that. Before they had dropped their first albums, they were kind of putting themselves out there everywhere on a whole lot of features, keeping themselves relevant while they worked on that album. And why you're smiling is so ridiculous that I can't even get into. But you know, I think I understand where you're coming from the point with Cardi B. I think I'm at the point now. It's like, all right, yeah, I want to see what she can do as an album. I actually do think Cardi B has some talent. I think she can spit. I just want to see how she is like overall with her song making and actually putting together a body of work that's not a mixtape. So I'm intrigued to see what she can do. Am I dying to you know? No, but I'm intrigued to see what she can do. Also, I'm intrigued to see the Roots. They finally need to drop an album. Endgame, I want to hear that. Definitely want to see what J. Cole's got coming up next. Brian is here. For people who can't see, he's on his laptop and he's enlarging on his screen Freddie Gibbs and Madlib because nobody would have believed that Brian could not wait for another Freddie Gibbs album.
I just happened to be scrolling down the list and I saw that he was there. So I was taunting you for the last 60 seconds, which is why I bust out laughing before. That is obviously an album that I'm looking forward to.
Obviously, yes. Obviously. No, I mean, what?
That is allegedly in the mixing stages.
I guess other than music, I feel like as far as sports goes, I'm looking forward to
free agency.
Definitely a free agency.
What?
I mean, this year's going to be a very interesting year of free agency. I guess.
Forget about the finals.
I mean,
I know who's winning the championship.
No, but I'm always excited to get to April for when the playoffs start. You know, it's a good time then. I always look forward to that. My birthday's coming. Playoffs about to start. So I'm always want to see. So I guess I'm excited for that. Baseball will be back soon.
Dexter's birthday's in April.
There you go. For those people that know, I'm not telling you a day.
Start getting your gift gift cards.
I mean, hey,
accordingly.
If y'all want to send some gift cards.
Or you could do the thing that the new Instagram girls are doing, the Cash App.
I was not even aware of this.
Lewis, you know what I'm talking about? He's laughing.
Wait, why is he like, no, don't, like Lewis doesn't want to be a part of it? Are you a part of this? Sounds like a credit card scam.
Man, I don't want to, I've heard about this, like.
Oh, I've had it sent to me already.
I don't want to say that I follow a lot of Instagram models, but.
You do?
I mean, no, not a lot. Like
you take photos with Instagram models or no?
I mean, yeah. So there's a lot of models on my Instagram feed, but a lot of girls be like, "Hey, cash at me," and then but there's more. So like girls that like, "Hey, cash at me," and then you'll get something in return. I'm just like,
yo,
okay,
that's what I'm talking about.
Nah, man, no, I'm good. I'm out of that.
That sounds real suspect.
I mean, it sounds real suspect. And how are you gonna trust that? I wouldn't do it.
Get something in return.
Yeah. What do you think?
Who's falling for that?
I mean,
like if somebody said that to you on the street, "Oh, give me some money, I give you some return." Nobody would do that.
Hey, man.
You'd be like, "It's stupid."
Hey, man.
This is the message. This one right here. Have you seen Cash App? ? Try it. Try it using my code, and we'll each get $5.
I mean, no, yeah, that's it. No, that's it. No, that's a.
If you can see Dexter's face right now.
But don't.
Those of you just
that's
listening.
That's actually like a college thing. A lot of college students do that so they could get money to pay for stuff, essentially. And when like they borrow money, they could just use that Cash App money to send to other people. Yeah. Bro, man, we're struggling out here. We need to do something to make money out here.
It's
Don't
fine.
judge me. Dex, you were in college too. I bet you did some crazy stuff to get some money too. Not even
Oh,
crazy.
no.
Y'all got $5,
I
man.
did some stuff. I did some stuff like going to do some research studies that were authorized by.
Oh my gosh! Shut the hell up! No, you didn't. You did more.
I'm dead
than,
serious.
I mean, you
I'm
probably
dead
did more than
serious.
stuff. Yeah, but there's other stuff too, probably like he did. Or,
Like what?
I don't know.
There
like,
were no cash apps in
no but,
2000
There were no
whatever.
apps.
But I bet there was some like how do I say it? Like some dares. They're like, yo, do this and you get like 10. I'll give you like $10, and you're probably like, yo, that's lunch for like 2 days.
Nah.
Might as well get
That's
it.
lunch
you know?
for one day in New York now.
I mean, Dex, when did you go to college? Early 2000s?
2001 to 2005.
I mean,
Giving
come
away
on.
your age again.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I didn't do anything crazy.
I mean, I was in
get
an
some
elementary
money.
school in
That's the
2001.
point.
Just saying.
I didn't do
I
anything
worked
crazy to get some
for-
money.
I did legitimate.
Hey, man,
I did legitimate work.
Hey, I respect that, but there's easier ways to do it, and like this new age of like people are doing these easier things, getting these $5 from this Cash App stuff. So yeah, don't judge me.
I'm not judging you. You sound like somebody's advocating, like, yo, maybe you should be hustling.
Are you advocating? Are you advocating for?
Advocating?
Are you advocating? I didn't even know what I said. Are you advocating for the Thotty Instagram hustle?
I don't want to say I respect it.
You almost did.
I don't like. I don't really like. I don't know. I'm like indifferent. Do whatever you want, but I'm not gonna like send any money.
Me too. I'm
myself.
just leave me alone because I ain't giving you $5.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
cool.
I don't really. See, the thing is that like a lot of guys do send that because they're like, be
They're
honest.
thirsty.
Yeah, they're very.
Yeah. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
But that's why they do it, because it works. It's the same reason why the same dudes DM 100 different girls, because they know five of them are gonna respond.
I do the same thing too, but I'm
You
not
have a low
thirsty.
slugging percentage, but it doesn't matter
I
because
mean-
you're gonna get 5. You're just playing out the law of averages.
Yeah, but I do the same thing, but I don't do it to be like, creepy. You know what I mean? I do it to get like
So
models
you're
to
out
shoot.
here in the DM.
Yeah, to get models to shoot. That's
I'm mad
it.
at he's hustling to do legitimate work.
Exactly.
See, it's about the legitimacy.
Exactly.
I like how you phrase that.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
I respect it too.
Yeah.
I'm just asking a question.
It's
All
about-
right. No. Well, now you're my age. You're like only a year or two older. How you not know
Don't
this?
give away my age. Give away his, not mine.
You don't even know my age.
You
Nobody
don't
knows
know how
my
old
age.
I am either.
Huh?
Now they
Actually,
do.
that's not true
Now they
because
do.
that's
They'll
not
all
true
figure it
because
out.
I just
Whatever.
turned a number, so yeah.
They'll all figure it out.
Whatever.
Anyway, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit about a new coach that's been hired in the NFL, the Rooney Rule. Why I think the NFL probably need to get rid of this rule, because I think it's a sham. There being a bunch of frauds, but we know that about the NFL. And the NFL playoffs. Are we watching? Do we care? Does anybody care? We'll talk about that when we come back on the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. You know sometimes how it can be hard just to get from point A to point B. Now, when I have to get anywhere and I don't want to deal with the hassle of public transportation, it ain't hard to tell how I get around. I always make sure to use the best car service app in the game. I'm talking about Lyft. Lyft offers rides in minutes. All you have to do is download the Lyft app, request a ride, and you will be on your way quickly. Lyft is all about happy riders and happy drivers. Take a ride with them and you'll see why 9 out of 10 rides end up with a 5-star rating. Lyft always has amazing offers for new customers, and I'm here to tell our listeners about a great offer today. Lyft is currently offering free ride credit to Ain't Hard to Tell listeners. If you are new to Lyft, then you are eligible, and getting your credit is easy. All you have to do is download the app and use the promo code AHTTPOD to unlock your free credit today. Ain't hard to tell who has the best car app service, so use the code today and ride out loud with Lyft. The best new sports web series is here. It's from Backpack Broadcasting, and it's called The Sports Walk. The Sports Walk is a series where diverse sports fans take a walk and share their views at the intersection of sports and society. The entire first season is now available on Backpack Broadcasting's YouTube channel and backpackbroadcasting.com. See what other sports fans have to say about a variety of issues in the world of sports. Watch all 13 episodes from season 1 and take the Sports Walk today. Welcome back to the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Dexter Henry and Brian Fonseca here. We're talking a little bit about start of 2018 in the first segment.
And you're also watching the Knicks Pelicans.
Yes, I have Knicks Pelicans on while we are recording this
Give us
podcast.
an update.
At the time, things are not going well for the Pelicans. Knicks are up 55-45. Even though at the time someone listens to it's not going to matter. But yes, that's how much of a junkie I am. I have the game on
That's
while
what I'm getting at.
I admit what I am. I have no problem with that. I have no problems whatsoever with that.
I think more people need to admit who they are.
I know who I am.
2018.
Yeah,
so
but
they should take.
But they ain't gonna put that on their New Year's resolutions. I can tell you that they ain't gonna put that. Anyway, speaking of people admitting who they are, the NFL who tries to not admit who they are. We saw recently, about a week ago, Jon Gruden was announced as the new head coach of the Raiders, except this was the worst kept secret in football because everybody knew that this was coming. Jack Del Rio, who had coached the Raiders for the previous 3 years and had them in the AFC Championship game last year, 7-9 finished this year, and then he lost his job, which he should not have lost his job in the first place.
Agreed.
The only reason he lost his job was because the Raiders ownership wanted to bring back Jon Gruden. I don't know why. And this is no disrespect to Jon Gruden. I think Jon Gruden's a solid coach. He's won a championship. That was a long time ago with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then he got into broadcasting, but hasn't really done much else. So I don't understand why there was such a demand for Jon Gruden. But Jon Gruden went back to the Raiders where he used to coach before, and he got reportedly $100 million over 10 years, the highest contract that we've ever for a coach, which is crazy. If Jon Gruden's making $10 million a year, what do you pay Bill Belichick? All right, somebody who's won 5 Super Bowls.
I'm more. I mean, you're right, first of all, but I'm more on like how. If you're Jon Gruden, granted, you're getting what, rumored $4.5 million from ESPN or whatever it is, $4.5 million, which is a lot of money, but it's a much less physically taxing, dare I say, easier job to do Monday Night Football for a season, and some other NFL obligations outside of that than to coach an NFL team year round. Coaches they live different lifestyles. Let's just put it that way. You know what I mean?
Sleep.
A lot of sleep. A lot of times you're sleeping in your office. You're trying to figure out like what to do. This is legitimate. And with Jon Gruden, it's like, why would you want to go back to that? But $100 million.
Well, somebody gives you $6 million.
Apparently he's been wanting to get back for a while. Maybe it was a Phil Jackson situation where Oakland kept throwing more and more money on the table to where he just couldn't say no. Maybe it started at 50, 70, and then.
I don't doubt that. My thing is, for a couple, there's a lot of things here, but he got a job. Listen, everybody's a right to choose and hire who they want to hire, but he got a job, and Jack Del Rio got fired from a job, which he didn't deserve to be fired. Jack Del Rio had one.
He got fired because his quarterback got injured.
Yeah,
that's basically
that's not a bad coaching job. That's not a fireable.
It's not, but in the NFL, that's kind of how they do it. It's like, oh, you can't. Your best player gets hurt, and now you can't win. Bye.
Yeah. I mean, but coaches don't win without their best players. That's something people have to say. I mean, yes, the coaches do a lot of great jobs, but they're not going to win without their best players. Jon Gruden now is going to have to, I think, unfairly live up to this contract, which I don't think he will. Look, when you get paid $10 million, you get paid $10 million a year, and in the first year of a team that was 2 years now removed, will be at the time he starts coaching from an AFC Championship game. I'm looking at you like, you got to get me to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You got to get me to the Super Bowl. I'm not sure the Raiders can you definitively say next season they'll get to a Super Bowl? I don't know that.
The Raiders are the Raiders, so I don't know what.
I don't know what they're thinking
kind of
or what they're going to. Yes, they are. I can say that. The Raiders are sort of like one of the Knicks of the NFL. They'll tease you a little bit, but you don't trust their ownership. That's kind of what they are. But if I'm a coach that's won in this league recently, or I've been to a Super Bowl recently, if I'm Bill Belichick, I'm Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
I'm Pete Carroll, who's been to 2 Super Bowls and won 1.
Yeah.
I'm Ron Rivera, Mike McCarthy, one of these guys, and those guys all make somewhere between $6.5, $8 million. I'm looking at this contract. I'm looking at my agent like, yo, can you get me some more money? Because this dude has been sitting in the broadcast booth doing quarterback camp and whatnot, and he just got $10 million.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, look. Nobody wants to be paid less than what they believe they're worth. If I'm Bill Belichick and I'm like, I got 5 rings. 5 rings. I got 1 for this hand. And this guy has $10 million and I'm only making 8. I'm like, now you can say he agreed to the contract, but I'm going to say I'm going to feel some kind of way.
That may be a problem that the New York Giants may have to attend to because allegedly Bill Belichick might end up there somehow.
Although
I strongly doubt that that's going to happen. Speaking of NFL coaches unfairly fired, your boy Jim Caldwell for the Detroit Lions.
My boy.
I want to know.
How's he my boy?
Well, we're going to get into this Rooney Rule, so.
Yeah, because he's black, he's my boy. Nah. Yo, Jim Caldwell, shout out, man. Keep your head up.
But my thing, this pissed me off.
Yeah.
And I don't even care. Like,
well, you sound like you care.
How does Jim Caldwell get fired taking the Detroit Lions of all teams
The Detroit Lions. Yep.
to the playoffs 2 times in 4 years, 2 times in 3 years? This year they didn't go. And then the 4th season, they're what? I don't even remember their record. 7-9, 8-8, something around 500. 9-7. They were 9-7 this year,
yep.
And he got fired. They were 36-28 this year. I bet you put that up with
36-28 throughout his 4 years.
I bet you he's one of the best head coaches that they've ever had in terms of just record alone.
Oh, that 4-year stretch is
that
4-year stretch is probably the best 4-year stretch of the Lions I've seen, at least in my lifetime.
How many Detroit Lions coaches have taken their team to the playoffs twice? Ask Royce the 5'9".
So
ask anybody from Detroit.
So here's the thing. They're gonna hang their hat on, before we get back into this Rooney Rule. They're gonna hang their hat on the fact that they didn't. I don't believe they won a playoff game in that time, right? They didn't win a playoff game.
No.
So here's the thing. You know who hasn't won many playoff games, but he's still coaching? He actually just got an extension. Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis has been Cincinnati forever.
He's y'all scapegoat.
No, I'm like y'all scapegoat. I'm just saying Marvin Lewis, though, at some point, it's like, have you delivered in the playoff? I think Marvin Lewis has taken Cincinnati probably as far as he can. Now, has he had all the talent? No, but he hasn't won, and he's still coaching in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Now, Cincinnati might be realistic, like, we don't know that we can necessarily do better, and that's cool.
You have Andy Dalton. You can't.
But how Jim Caldwell didn't deserve to be fired.
Both times he got fired because the other time he was in Indianapolis. 14-2, 10-6, 2-14.
2-14 when they lost Peyton Manning.
Yes, that was the neck injury year, and then they brought in Chuck Pagano after that.
Yes, that's correct.
And Jim Caldwell took them to, what was it? They went to the Super Bowl the first year.
Super Bowl with Jim Caldwell.
They went to the Super Bowl. Man, I don't even care about football like that, but
this shows me that in football they do.
But wait, as a career head coach, he's 62-50.
He doesn't have a job.
And I bet you because he's gotten fired twice. Yep. And you
know what Jon Gruden's record was in the last 6 seasons that he coached?
Tell me.
45-51. And 0-2 in the postseason, but somebody just gave him $10 million.
That lighter pigmentation though will kind of help you.
I'm just saying.
In the coaching world,
45-51 in his last 6 seasons of coaching before he went to broadcasting, 0-2 in the postseason. So basically, he hadn't really done much since he won with the Buccaneers. What was that in the early 2000s? Hasn't really done much.
15 years ago.
That's 15 years ago.
I was in grade school. Me and Lewis were in grade school when that happened.
Way to make yourself sound very young.
I am. Even though I don't look like it because I haven't gotten a haircut in mad long. But anyway.
Yeah, you look like you'd be like on the stranded island.
I'm going to the barbershop soon. My barber's on vacation, so I'm waiting.
Excuses.
Anyway,
Jon Gruden, his recent resume is not that great, but he just got. And I think that's why another reason I would feel some kind of way if I saw this guy get $10 million a year. But here's another thing. Last week I see the interviews with Jon Gruden, or his press conference, I should say. It was live on ESPN. I'm watching it, and I thought to myself,
of course it was live on ESPN.
I said, wait, hold on. Before Jon Gruden got hired, for weeks they was talking about, it was rumored that he was going to go to the Raiders, right? Which was disrespectful to Jack Del Rio. Jack Del Rio gets fired. We all knew it was coming. Jon Gruden gets hired.
Mm-hmm.
Then he gets hired, and I'm sitting at home, and I'm watching his press conference, and I'm saying to myself, hold up. Who did they interview? Because I didn't hear anything about this process of them interviewing anybody.
Yeah, because you've heard Jon Gruden the entire way.
I heard Jon Gruden the entire time. I think Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport were the first people to report it. Then Jack Del Rio was fired, and it was like 3 or 4 days later, Jon Gruden's hired. They ain't do enough interviews in that time. Then I started thinking, I said, wait, we have the Rooney Rule, which is, for those who don't know, listen to the podcast, is a rule in which every team, when there's an open head coaching position, they're supposed to interview a minority candidate. I said, I didn't hear any minorities getting an opportunity to get interviewed here.
Yeah.
So what I did immediately was I pulled up my iPad, I went on Google, and I looked, and I was like, Rooney Rule and Raiders. That's all I had to put in. The Raiders comply with the Rooney Rule. I saw that they had interviewed 2 candidates. I'm forgetting their names right now because it doesn't even matter because nobody else will know them. No disrespect to those guys.
But did they do what the Philadelphia Eagles did that one time where you knew who, I forgot who, it was after Andy Reid. Like everyone knew that they were going to go, I think it was Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly.
And
that's a great example.
And they interviewed, was it Brian Westbrook or one of the running backs they had during the Donovan.
Coach Brian Westbrook.
One of the dudes that had during the Donovan McNabb era, I believe it was Brian Westbrook. Yeah. And they just did that. And everyone was saying too, like, they're not going to hire their running backs coach to be their head coach because Chip Kelly's out there. But, let's just do it to comply with this Rooney Rule.
Essentially, they did the same thing. They interviewed one of their offensive line coaches who is black. I'm forgetting these guys' names. And another coach on their staff already who's under Jack Del Rio, who's black. And he was like, I don't know, special teams or some of the coach. A coach that doesn't have much of a track record. I think one guy had 7 years NFL coaching experience. Another guy had 4. There was no shot of these guys getting any shot at a head coaching job anywhere, nevertheless with the Raiders. So they did the same thing as you alluded to as we saw with Chip Kelly, and they had these guys come in for this interview. And to me, what you're doing is you're making a joke with the rule.
Yeah.
You're just saying, hey, let's interview a couple minorities because we already know who we are going to hire, right? And we're just going to bring it in. And some people may say, oh, well, what's so bad about that? There's opportunities for minorities to get interviews there. And some people may look at it that way, and I say, well, you know what? You have no idea what it's like to be brought in for an interview where you think it might just be because you're a minority. I know what that's like. I know what that's like. Okay?
We've talked about this.
I will talk about it now. There was a company that I interviewed for, a very prominent sports media company I went for an interview for a couple years ago. And they brought me in, and interview, fantastic. Interview went great. And I thought it was good. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. We'll call you. We really want to.
He's doing the voice.
Fill this position quickly. We want to get you guys in here and get you in here in a couple of weeks. So I was all excited. I thought it was going to happen. And there was somebody. The reason I got the interview was because it was somebody who I knew that got me in for this interview, and they thought it was a good fit. And I was a good fit. And I followed up a couple weeks. Didn't hear anything. For those who know Brian, so didn't hear anything. Followed up. Then all of a sudden, the position had been dissolved. At first, I was frustrated. I didn't think much of it. But then I started speaking to some other minorities who interviewed with this company. Same thing was happening to them, where they felt that they were just brought in for equal opportunity employment, which is a bunch of nonsense. I can get into that another day. You're brought in just because they want to say that they interviewed a minority content. But if you look at a lot of these places in sports media, and you know this, and I know this because I've been working in this for years, there isn't a lot of equal opportunity employment. You can go to any of these offices of these major sports publications, networks, and you can just take one look around the newsroom, and you will see everybody looks the same. Everybody looks the same. And they don't look like me, and they don't look like Brian. And
if it's exactly who I'm thinking of, then I interviewed for that same company not terribly long ago.
Yes, it is the same company.
Okay, so we're on the same page.
You should know.
We're not gonna name names.
We know exactly.
You can kind of figure it out if you've been in our shoes.
I mean, you guys can probably figure it out, and you can look at websites of tons of places that people working there, and you'll see exactly what it is. Yeah. But the reason I bring that up is because this is a problem with the NFL. Am I surprised about this is going to NFL, that the rules are shaped? No. The NFL has shown throughout the years, and all the reason I haven't watched the NFL this year, they don't give a damn about minorities. They don't care. They haven't shown to care. And so this is just reflective of it. So my thing is, if you're not going to make more stricter policies on the rule, then let's get rid of the Rooney Rule because it's not helping anybody. It's not doing anything. It's clearly not creating more opportunities for minorities. We still only have one Latino head coach, right? We're just starting to get some women now into coaching. There's still very few amounts of black head coaches and GMs, which has gone down even more. Guys aren't getting the opportunities to interview. You can't get the opportunity to interview when somebody brings in a Jon Gruden. They know they want him ahead of time. And you know what? Nothing's going to change because these companies, these teams, know who they want before, and they're not interested in equal opportunity employment. So let's stop trying to act like you are because we know damn well y'all ain't interested.
I would like to see how one of these meetings goes. If we should try to simulate one.
Which meetings? The fake meetings?
Yes.
Oh, the
like
ones
when they bring them in just for that. I'm talking about for football and football.
I think I know how it goes. Now, there's no way I can prove this because you're gonna have to have some kind of record or recording or whatever.
So let's.
You come in.
Let's contact Brian Westbrook.
Brian Westbrook. hey, Brian Westbrook. How you doing, man? You know you like being with the organization. You know you're doing a great job as running backs coach.
One of our greatest players
right here. We're not really here to talk about an interview. We're just gonna talk about for just taking the time to sit here and do this. We'll raise your salary a little extra next year. Here, how's this check look right over here for your salary for next year? And Brian Westbrook's like, okay.
Yeah. But you're not. But to be clear, you're not trying to say anything bad about Brian Westbrook.
No, I don't think.
It's just
I'm mad at Brian Westbrook for getting his money. I ain't mad at him.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at the process.
I'm saving you.
It wouldn't surprise me if some of these guys it's in the form of a salary increase or promise that it's kind of, they're not really calling it hush money, but it's kind of like hush money.
Yeah.
To say that, you've been interviewed. But now assistants can't talk, so you'll never be able to get this stuff from them. But it would be interesting to know what that process is like. It's a sham.
Right.
The process has been shown to me that it's a sham. And until it's truly addressed, and I think really people really complain about it, I'm surprised that more people aren't outraged over what happened with Gruden in this process or what happened with Chip Kelly. Because it struck me immediately as I was watching the press conference, like, yo, where were the minority candidates?
Yeah, who did they interview?
I didn't even hear about them. Like, you didn't even hear about them. And it's not just the minority candidates. What about other candidates, no matter what their race are, that are actually qualified to be in that position? They didn't really get a true shot or a true interview. It's not just about minorities. It's just about anybody else in the process. And I think it's a sham, and I think we have to truly adjust. And I think it's time for the Rooney Rule to go.
Real
it's time
quick,
for it to go.
because Lewis is telling us we got to go to break. Do we care that the Jacksonville Jaguars are now in the AFC Championship game and are probably going to lose to New England? Sorry, Amber.
I'm happy for Amber Coots, who is a guest on our podcast, who's a big Jaguars fan. One of the two Jaguar fans I know in life.
The one that I know in life.
One of two that I know in life, and I'm happy for them. I mean, I know a ton of Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and I haven't gone to college in Pittsburgh and friends who still live there. I know they're down and they're sad, and they can put their terrible towels and take them and dry their tears or whatever they're going to do. They're always sad because they think they're going to win every year, and they're a little arrogant. But
I'm glad.
Here's the thing. I'm hoping that Jacksonville gives New England more of a chance than people think.
Oh, I hope they beat New England.
Oh, yeah, I hope that too.
Just straight up.
I hope so too.
But that's just me and
No, you know why I hope so? It's not even that, as the Jet fan in me wants that. It's that New England now, we have all this turmoil where it's like, them and Belichick and Brady and Kraft might be beefing. That's just going to further it more if they lose. Yeah. So I'm here for that narrative. I want to see it get messy.
Well, I just don't get along with a lot of Patriot fans. So we can leave it at that.
Okay. Interesting.
Go Jaguars!
Yo, Patriots fans are like, we're not listening to this podcast. Yo, forget this podcast.
You think people from Boston listen to this? Boston?
Minorities from Boston will. I'll say that.
But if you're not, you can listen also.
No,
we welcome everybody. We're just playing around.
I think open-minded people everywhere listen to this podcast.
There you go.
Closed-minded people.
There you go. We know that Spencer Dinwiddie does.
Yes, we do.
Congratulations on all your success.
We're gonna take a break for our final segment. When we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit about just a bunch of random things. Sometimes we like to go real random. NBA All-Star Game and voting, that's coming up soon next month. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Go Jaguars.
Jaguars.
Congratulations, Kevin Sumlin.
On the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. What's up, listeners? You know sometimes how it can be hard just to get from point A to point B. Now, when I have to get anywhere and I don't want to deal with the hassle of public transportation, it ain't hard to tell how I get around. I always make sure to use the best car service app in the game. I'm talking about Lyft. Lyft offers rides in minutes. All you have to do is download the Lyft app, request a ride, and you will be on your way quickly. Lyft is all about happy riders and happy drivers. Take a ride with them and you'll see why 9 out of 10 rides end up with a 5-star rating. Lyft always has amazing offers for new customers, and I'm here to tell our listeners about a great offer today. Lyft is currently offering free ride credit to Ain't Hard to Tell listeners. If you are new to Lyft, then you are eligible, and getting your credit is easy. All you have to do is download the app and use the promo code AHTTPOD to unlock your free credit today. ain't hard to tell who has the best car app service. So use the code today and ride out loud with Lyft. It ain't hard to tell where to get the latest merchandise from Backpack Broadcasting. Gear is now available via TeePublic. Visit the Backpack Broadcasting TeePublic online store to get shirts, hoodies, mugs, and phone cases. Represent your favorite Backpack Broadcasting shows, including the Sports Walk, Sideline Stories, and of course, the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Check out the special offers for our podcast listeners at http://t.pub/lic/backpack. Get in the game with your official Backpack Broadcasting gear today. Tell podcast, episode 15, first one of 2018. We are back. NBA All-Star Game will be next month in Los Angeles.
Are you going?
No, I'm not. I'm not going. I wish I could go. I'm not going. I actually have something to do that weekend. I don't remember what it is I have to do. I have something that I'm doing that weekend.
Yeah, same. I'm sure I will. I just don't
something
know
I have work-related. So I will not be out in L.A. I will not be partying with the unicorn Kristaps Porzingis, who should be representing the Knicks in the All-Star Game. Vote KP. All-Star Game, I was talking to a friend about this recently, and we were talking about whether or not we've spoken about this for the last couple of years. Do we care about the NBA All-Star Game anymore? And I'm starting to realize that I always was kind of like, a lot of people say, oh, the All-Star Game, they play no defense. I've always kind of been like, I take it for what it is, as like, playground basketball game.
Yeah.
But then, I've been thinking about how I felt about it the last couple of years, and I watch it more, and I'm kind of like, after like the fifth uncontested dunk, I'm kind of like over it. I'm like, like this is cool, but I don't really need this. So now I think I'm at this point where I'm like, I'm fine with just naming All-Stars. I like everything else about the weekend. I like the rookie-sophomore game. I think those guys actually play a little harder.
Right.
I like the
and you like seeing the
young stars, the
the
next generation.
guys who have next.
I like the three-point contest, the skills competition. The dunk contest have been down on for a bunch of years now. I think that nobody's really done anything that's really interesting.
Yeah, I was hype about what's the dude's name that's in Miami now that used to be with Phoenix? That he was in the G League. What's his name?
Johnson? Not James Johnson.
No. It doesn't matter. Keep going.
Okay. But no, those things excite me.
Derrick Jones Jr.
Oh, Derrick Jones. Okay, yeah. Those things excite me, but I don't know if I need to see the game anymore. I'm like, let's just name the All-Stars. No game. Have all this.
Lewis is like, yo,
why is
Lewis
that crazy?
You're bugging.
Yo, man, like, nah. The All-Star game is like a fun
no
time.
game.
Yeah, and I don't know what you're talking about. The last dunk contest was like pretty. Was it the last one with
You're thinking about the one before Aaron Gordon
and Zach LaVine?
Zach LaVine.
But that was the first good one in a
long time.
No, but before that, Zach LaVine was killing it too. I was just like, what? That's
remember
crazy.
a few years ago, Brandon's taking photos for us. You know what I'm going to say. Remember a few years ago where they had teams?
What? Wait, what do you mean teams?
The dunk contest teams?
Yeah,
it was like, and there was no winner. It was like teams. It was like John Wall, I think, was in it, and two other people. Oh, my God.
They've been trying. The dunk contest.
They've been trying to
Zach
revamp
LaVine
it.
and Aaron Gordon was one of the best dunk contests that we had seen recently.
Yeah.
But in the last, I could say like 12 years, it's been horrible.
Okay, I understand that.
I'd rather Fred Jones.
You have a problem with me saying
there should be no game.
You know why? Here's the thing. Here's what I will say. All right, and everybody knows my age. I'm 34.
Oh my God.
I'm saying that. You know what? I get why the game is appealing to like younger kids who just. When I was young, I loved the All-Star game. I wanted to see all my favorite players together on one team, go up and down the court all crazy, throwing lobs, even though nobody's playing defense. Now I'm older and I watch the game of basketball. I'm like, it's not that hot. But I understand why kids want to see that. So maybe I'll say I don't want to take that away from them. If they want that, that's cool. I'm just not.
Yo,
as
Brian,
excited.
I don't appreciate this. He's trying to sun us. He's like, yo, these
I am
kids, let them have
you-
their fun. Nah, man.
I'm not saying don't have.
But even just talking to NBA players, you kind of realize like, yo, most of these dudes just want to go on vacation.
Just give them the
during
week
this
off.
time.
Just
You
give
know
them the
what
week
I mean?
off.
Like
They
I
need to
feel like a
listen.
lot of them, if they could, they'd probably just be like, I'm not.
They'll be like,
going.
yo, I'm happy to be named the All-Star.
They'll like being in LA this year. I'm sure.
I'm
But
like,
still, it's
I'm
work.
happy to be named the All-Star. It's a great honor. We know everybody is. Do I need to see all of them play? Not
And
really.
honestly, I didn't watch.
I don't want to see. I know KP doesn't want to get hurt. I don't see any Knicks get hurt.
Yeah.
You don't want to see anybody.
That's
team
also
get
why
hurt.
they put up a lot of. Once I see the 10th 3 go up with like 6 minutes left in the first quarter, I'm kind of like, all right, I'm over this.
Yeah, see,
I don't watch
that's the
All-Star
thing.
games like I used to. I'll still watch the dunk contest most likely, just to see who's in it. There are some guys. Terrence Ferguson is somebody I would like
who's
to
in
see
it
in the
this
dunk
year?
contest. I don't know. They haven't announced it yet.
I'm
Oh,
hoping
okay.
Larry
wanna
Nance
see-
Jr.'s in it
I
too.
want to see Terrence Ferguson, Larry Nance Jr. I'd like to see Rondae Hollis Jefferson, maybe. Guys like that, like guys who will excite me. Maybe they'll
Yo,
be
when is
creative.
LeBron gonna do it?
Never. It's not-
Why?
That ship is
that
sailed.
bothers me. I wish that he did that because the first few years I was like maybe.
Didn't Kobe
Once
do
we
it?
got to like 2007,
Yes.
2008,
Kobe did it. Come on,
Kobe went against Vince.
Michael
LeBron's
Jordan-
not gonna do it now.
Why? He
All he's
could,
gonna do is
he
body
could
the
do it,
rim.
though. He could though. Like he's still super athletic. He could definitely do this.
He
on
could,
that.
but he's
not
not.
doing
He's
that.
not gonna do it. But those are some people that I would like to see. Maybe they bring back. Zach LaVine's not gonna do it. Maybe Aaron Gordon does it. But
I
you
think,
know what I mean?
Yo, I think if
I actually like the Celebrity All-Star game.
Oh, I
no, I don't care about
I
that.
actually watch that sometimes.
I
But
watch
depending
zero
on
of
who's
that.
in it,
Nah.
I was over it when they had Kevin Hart for 8 straight years.
He's gonna be here again, probably. Would you be shocked if he's not there
because
again?
because he did Jumanji.
I don't care about celebrities.
I would want to see The Rock in the Celebrity All-Star game.
Hasn't he done
Matter
it
of
once?
fact.
I feel like he's at least done it
No,
once.
he's too big to dribble.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't even know if he plays.
He's
First
too
of
tall.
all,
He's from
He'll
Hawaii.
dribble
I think
a
he plays
basketball and
rugby.
deflate it.
He played rugby, not
I
like
could care
The
less.
Rock?
yeah, rugby.
I
he
can
played.
care less about
Who would
watching
you like?
people.
Who would get you to see the Celebrity All-Star game?
Nobody. Just nobody I care to see.
Not even 50-year-old Hove.
No. I don't care about watching people who can't play basketball.
Why would you
as
want
good as
that?
me.
Why would you want
I want to watch
A lot
that?
of people would. I'm just
50-year-old
asking
Hov.
questions.
Why would you want to see his old rusty cell running down the court? Why would you do that?
If
to
I
him?
want to, if you
Barack
want to,
Obama's what is it, his right-hand man or whatever? That dude was nice.
Nah, but
Duncan
this is
or
the
whatever his
All-Star
name was?
game. There's
Yo,
definitely younger people.
Celebrity
in there.
All-Star game, I don't care. If I want to see basketball that bad, I can go. Anybody, you can go to your local Y and see the 50-year-old dudes on the court. The basketball's gonna be just as bad. I don't need to turn on my TV to see that.
I like when they have the WNBA players there because they just bust everybody up.
Yeah, I don't need to see it. Like I never watch it. I will not watch it. Do not care. So that's my thing. If you still enjoy the All-Star game, I'm not trying to crap on it. I can understand.
Snoop Dogg might be in it.
I
That's in LA.
understand why it's more appealing, but I think as you watch basketball more, and I think you're starting to get there, where you're like, yeah. After
I didn't watch last year's All-Star game.
I still might tune in, but after a certain point, I'm like, okay.
Just called Brian old. How do you feel about that?
I didn't call him old. You're
I'll
trying to
be
stir
there
trouble.
soon. I told you, I'm shaving my head in my 20s. It's coming.
Okay.
Like, you know
All
what
right.
I'm saying?
You guys, and Lewis is here trying to start trouble about calling people old. Nobody's calling anybody old. If you want to watch the All-Star, I'll probably will still look at some of the All-Star game this year. We'll have to discuss
Speaking of old,
what we think of it after.
speaking of old and trouble, we were talking about Eminem's album. Were you able?
That's a transition.
Were you able?
Damn. Transition with shots fired. Like, damn.
Trouble can mean a good thing if you're a rapper, but no.
Not in
But
this case.
in partial seriousness, were you able to get through? What was that? Revival?
You forgot the name. Damn.
No, I don't remember. I
All
was like,
I personally was not able to finish the Rival. I started it.
I love Joe Budden's reaction.
9 or 10 tracks in, and I was legitimately doing something, so I actually stopped listening. But it was like, you know, when you're like, I stopped. No, I legitimately had something to do. So I was like,
Still funny.
No,
I don't care.
with the intention of coming back to finish. But then I realized, like, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, yo, I stopped, and then you're like, yo, that wasn't really that good. So I really have no incentive to go back. So I don't want to go back. So I didn't go back, and I haven't gone back.
I should have.
And nobody I know who's listened to the album has finished it. Nobody.
9 or 10 is a lot, isn't it?
I've gotten further than most people I know.
Let me pull up the track list because I don't even know how far I got, and I didn't even go in order either. I just went through like certain
You know,
songs. You told me that the song for Fresher wasn't terrible,
Not
and I
close
wanted
subject,
to know
not
how
bad
the
at all.
hell did Fresher get on an Eminem album anyway.
It's
so
not.
I just
I
wanted to
think
know. That's no offense to Fresher, and by the way, should have prefaced this by saying Eminem could still probably out rap just about anybody ever, but not.
But his body of work, and that's something we have to talk about. His body of work. Now you have to look at it.
Jesus, look at
I
these
think
reviews.
you have to go to part and say he's kind of overrated. people like to put him up there in terms of the great rappers of all time, but in my opinion, he does not have a classic album. And
Not one.
no, I think it's something that's close to a classic album, the Marshall Mathers LP,
All
but
right.
I don't think he has a classic album. And I think he has a lot of albums that are just, quite frankly, not that good. There's some good songs.
X
in
is
there
about to
that
get shanked.
Some
in
people,
this
white
house.
and black,
Yo,
are coming
my
for
God,
you,
yo.
boy.
they come for me. They come for me, and then I'll say to them, "Oh, when's the last time you listened? Tell me the classic Eminem album that you just recently bumped." They're gonna be like, I don't know."
They're gonna be
Because
like
they-
Marshall Mathers LP 2
That was,
because it had Rap God on it.
which is a good song. But what else do you listen to on that album?
That's
Go
it.
ahead, tell me another great song. I dare you.
Hey, I pretty much agree with most of what you're saying. Although I think Eminem is
That
a
doesn't,
classic.
and that doesn't mean that I don't think, like, as far as just pure rapping, I don't think Eminem is one of the best, like, pure lyricist or rapper.
That's
He
different.
is, but to me, as an artist, you have to put together good bodies of work. When you haven't done that, I cannot put you with Jay and Nas and Big and Pac. I can't put you up there as that. And some people want to do that, and I'm not giving pass. Now, what I find interesting about this album is Eminem got a little more political on this album. And for him, and I think it was coming from a genuine place. So part of that I actually like.
You don't think he was reaching, trying to get a response like Joe Biden said he did?
Nah, actually don't think so. I actually think it's coming from a genuine place.
All right.
I don't think, because I think he was actually trending towards that. I think it was
Because he said he was disappointed when he didn't get a response.
I think he
That
just.
was after the freestyle.
But I'm not shocked because if you look at Eminem,
You want to talk about overrated?
no, if you look at Eminem's fan base, the majority of his fan base that identified with him being this, I'm kind of the angry, troubled white kid, blah blah blah, and some of the questionable lyrics that Eminem has had over the years, including doing offensive stuff to women, killing his
He
wife.
made Kim.
Right. All these things like that. And there's a lot of people, let's just talk about kids who liked hip-hop that were white, suburban kids that identified with that, right, and followed. So now when he goes into this political, I'm not rocking with 45 stuff, some people in that base were like, nah, we not here for that. I think that's part of it, too. Now, I also think part of it, the music just isn't that good.
That's my
That
real
counts. The
thing
music
with it.
isn't good, but I do think it might be interesting to look at his sales have declined a little bit. Still good and better than most people, but I think some of his base were like, I don't know about you coming at 45. Like, we kind of like 45, so nah.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
That's where I'm going with it. But I think it still comes down to the music, and I don't think the music's that good. And I do think Eminem, for quite a bit of time, has been given a pass. I think if other people, I can see where people get a pass if they have, like, a classic album.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Snoop Dogg, right? Snoop Dogg's pretty much lived off of Doggy Style. He has no album that's come even close.
I was gonna make
Close to really having another good or classic album. He's had some good singles with Pharrell, right? But Snoop Dogg, at least I can say, dude has a classic.
Well, in fairness to Snoop Dogg, a lot of men have lived off of Doggy Style, but I see your point.
Yo, that was bad. That was so. Anyways, it's great to know that he can amuse himself. Snoop has lived off of that. Is kind of, you can say he's kind of going off the Marshall Mathers LP, but I don't think that is a classic. And tell me the last album that's really wowed you by Eminem you think is great. You tell me.
What, the last Eminem album that I thought was
you been
great?
like, what?
Eminem
Oh,
Show.
really good.
Eminem Show. Because
I
Encore.
like Recovery.
Encore had one of my favorite Eminem songs, like Toy Soldiers. Actually, it had there are a few songs on it that are great, but then it's too much like Fack, and then I don't even know if I can say that. Nah, that's fine. But there's like a bunch of songs on it. What's the song where he's throwing up?
I don't remember.
I don't even know,
think
but
the
there's
album's
like
that
it might be the same song. Just Lose It. You know what I mean? And then Relapse had
awful album.
Yeah, Relapse just had a bunch of stuff. I don't actually think it's awful, but I think it's not far removed from that.
No interest
I didn't like Recovery, me personally.
I did.
And Marshall Mathers
thought it was decent.
Marshall Mathers LP2 I thought was decent, but I didn't. Decent's not great. Like, in what world is decent
Right,
like
you're
a great album?
coasting by off of decent.
And I don't even think this is like crazy, because I think most people are starting to kind of echo the same sentiments. Where it's like, yo, when was the last time he really put together a universally album thought of to be universally a classic? Eminem Show is the de facto one, in my opinion. And a lot of people would say he had. A lot of people would say Eminem Show, Slim Shady LP, Marshall Mathers, the first one, and Infinite, where he was, rapping like AZ and trying to find his sound and things like that. That was very.
I think what I'll say to this is, I think Eminem, if he wanted
people just like Infinite because it's a lyrical miracle album. But anyway,
I think if he wanted to put out an album that was just a pure rapping album and had some structure, and you want to hear some things that he can speak on as a grown man. So if I know some people might say it's hypocritical that he went from, he was talking about killing his wife and all this other stuff, and now he's become more political in his album. Look, people grow.
No, that's just.
But the music still has to
look
be good.
Look at Jay-Z on his last album, and Nas on his last album.
Yeah, the music still has to be good though. You still got to have good beats over good production, and it has to flow. And this album, it appears that while I think he's trying to get some good content, he's all over the place. So I couldn't finish it. Maybe someday I will. Don't really care to do it right now. I'm not in any rush to get back into that album. I mean, I hope Eminem could bounce back for this, because maybe this is a wake-up call for him, because reviews have been awful across the board.
Yeah.
By everybody.
Yeah.
I want to meet the person that tells me, like, yo, this album's fire. I don't know if I'm going to be able to look at them seriously. I'm probably going to laugh in their face, but I want to see the person that's like, yo, this album's fire.
Somebody told me that recently.
Oh, my God.
I'm trying to remember who it was so I could.
Was it Lewis?
No.
Okay.
No. Lewis, have you heard the Eminem album?
No, and I never really listened to Eminem. I heard, what is it, the Slim Shady? What is it, the first song that he came out with Dr. Dre?
My Name Is?
My Name Is,
that's on the Slim Shady LP.
That's about the only song I've ever listened to. Besides that, I didn't really care for Eminem. I mean, I see why people like him, and like you said, the relatability of a white rapper and stuff like that. But I just I don't care.
Yeah, it's kind of like. Never mind. I'm not gonna do
what?
it.
I'm
No.
Nah, you gotta go now.
We'll have to find out off.
No, I ain't gonna do that.
Where he was going to. Yeah, so I don't know. But I guess I will put this out there as we wrap up. One of the things we'd like to see in 2018, maybe Eminem can bounce back. Maybe.
I don't care if he does, to be honest with you. I don't.
Yeah, for real.
I want Royce's
who's gonna benefit?
Album.
Who's gonna benefit from the album?
He's gonna put another album out, but I'm saying maybe.
But here's the thing. I've never and I like Eminem, and I think he, we talked about this already, as a rapper, as just a straight rapper, he can out-rap most people that have ever touched a microphone. But I've never in my life sat and was like, yo, I can't wait till that Eminem album drops.
Yeah, me either.
I've never cared enough.
Yeah, okay, I can say that, and I feel the same way, and I've never felt that way. But
to be fair, there are very few people that.
What's ironic is the album's called Revival, but after that album, Eminem needs a revival. He definitely does. He definitely needs a revival.
So after Relapse, did he need a relapse? And after Recovery, did he need another recovery?
Yeah, I guess so. All those things.
After Encore, he needed another Encore?
No, we didn't need that.
Okay.
That we didn't need. That we didn't need. But that's it. We're good to be back for 2018. It's episode 15 of the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. We'll be back with another episode. We have some good guests coming up for you guys in 2018. We have another episode coming out fairly soon, so stay tuned. We encourage everybody, please subscribe to the Backpack Broadcasting channel. Follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. We also will be announcing the details of a new contest for you guys that you can join. And so you'll hear that on the next podcast. We'll have some details on the contest we'll be putting out on Twitter as well, too. So a lot of good things coming up in 2018. Brian is back. I am back. A lot of good things to look forward to. We'll have more for you the next time we see you guys on the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast.
Follow your New Year's resolutions.